course. So I just want to introduce Jackie Roberge. Jackie is a great friend. We've known each other for probably 4 years now. Jackie is a coach and she has many other passions. She's the founder of Business and Beyond, an organization that helps leaders and their teams find their purpose and to tap into this energy, drive, and clarity they need to focus on what matters most to them. So we decided together to do this webinar so Jackie could share some of her wisdom on purpose. So she can help you explore your own purpose and you can leverage this energy of that passion in your own life. So this will be interactive and, Jackie will invite you to ask questions and answer maybe some questions. So I pass it over to Jackie.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Stefan. Welcome, everyone. Welcome. So I met Stefan, like you said, about 3 or 4 years ago, and I really connected with the work that he did, and also because he's a great person. But in terms of consciousness, so I kind of define my purpose as helping people and organizations increase their level of consciousness and contribution. And I am passionate really about helping people find their purpose, get on their purpose path, but also create balance in their life. And I think that we can be purposeful and passionate and sometimes go overboard with that. I'm sure everybody knows those people that are so passionate about their work, it's nonstop. But I think that purpose goes beyond just work. It has to touch all aspects of our life. So my work is really, I take a whole person approach, looking at how can you be at your best and on purpose at work, at home, in your relationships, family, community. So I really take a holistic view of that and really help people on all those levels. I feel it's so important to create that alignment and balance. So I would like to start with asking you guys, write in the chat one thing that you are passionate about. And it could be a cause, it could be an idea, a movement, just something that really stirs you. Music, nice. Dance, love and consciousness. Nice. Learning, helping others, great. Living my best life, passionate about human and how to connect with human, nice. My family, nature, yes. Coaching, okay, passionate, good. So when Stefan and I decided to launch this webinar, the connection was energy and purpose. And I just want you to even notice talking about something that you're passionate about, doing something right for the right reasons, facilitate, connect, helping people develop skills. Like already when you talk about that, you're tapping into a different level of energy. And it's an energy that's always there, it's always within us. But if we're not paying attention and giving energy to things that we're passionate about, it doesn't flow through us like it naturally wants to. So second question for you, what do you love to do? Could be anything. I love to play tennis. I love to coach. I love to help people shift their perspectives. I love to challenge people's beliefs. What do you love to do? Listen to music? Yeah, and music is great because it can uplift, it can relax, helping people and care about people. Cool. Learning, art, nice. Push my physical limits, do something hard, learning, love to connect with people, help them connect with themselves. Awesome. Love to see sparks in the eyes of others. That's great. Good, so again, just feeling the energy around these statements is awesome. Learning, developing, good. So when you are doing something that you feel passionate about, that you feel energized by, it's likely somehow related to your purpose. And your purpose is something, it comes naturally and easily, but unless we put our finger on it, that we can't maximize it because we can't really tap into, look at, I'm doing my purpose and seeing the results. And when you actually are conscious of doing it and seeing the results, increases the energy even more. Really exciting. So another question for you guys is, what comes to mind when you think purpose? What's kind of your short definition of purpose, life purpose? Enjoying life by learning and sharing? Your why? Yeah. Sens, so giving a meaning to your life. Mission. This is awesome. I'm going to be talking about a few of these terms, the mission and the why, meaning to life. Yeah. Conscious of the impact of the environment. Yeah, being conscious is a super big part of everybody's purpose. Wanting to get up in the morning. That's what I'm questioning. Yes. Nice, Gina. So it doesn't have to be your purpose, but just in general, what does purpose mean to you? Awesome. Happiness. Good. So I'm going to share my definition and we can kind of work with that, and feel free, like, just put your hand up if you have a question. So my definition is, your purpose is a unique difference that you're here to make in the world. And it leverages and taps into your gifts and your talents, and also your life experiences. So when I became a purpose coach, my coach said, don't even talk to people who are younger than 30, because they haven't lived enough experiences. They haven't struggled or learned or grown or evolved enough to really tap into what matters most to them and the difference that they're meant to make. And the exception to that rule that he said, and I spoke with him recently, and we both acknowledged that right now there's a shift in the level of consciousness of young people, and it's happening faster. But I still think that those experiences, even though you're more conscious younger, those experiences are key. And one exception that he talks about is if you have a really big challenge early in life. So a cancer diagnosis, an accident, the death of a parent, something like that, that really shakes you up. What that does is usually accelerates your learning curve, evolution in terms of spiritual growth. So often those people are more ready, more open to finding their purpose because they've grown and faced tough challenges young. One of the things that I do as a specialty is I coach cancer patients. And what I've found with cancer patients is, one, it becomes a wake-up call, and it's a time to stop and reflect, which a lot of people, we are just on autopilot. This is my job, this is my relationship, and it's all okay, but we don't necessarily take it to that next level. So what cancer patients do is they have this wake-up call to stop and reflect, and to really look at all aspects of their life and saying, okay, am I fulfilled in this? Is this contributing to my well-being? And am I contributing my full potential in life? And what happens often is that people that face like a cancer journey end up finding something on that journey that they become so passionate about that they want to share with the world. So an example is somebody that gets a cancer diagnosis and ends up hooking up with a Reiki practitioner. And they just experience this transformation in terms of their energy. And they start to say, oh my gosh, this is so amazing. Everybody should know about this. Why doesn't everybody know? And this is a good sign. If you're thinking, I found something and I want to share it with the world, why doesn't everybody know about this? That's a good sign that you're tapping into something related to your purpose. Does that make sense? Does anybody have an example of that in your life, that you've tapped into something and it's like, oh my gosh, I so want to share this? You can put it in the chat or unmute yourself if you want to share something like that. So purpose can light up your heart. It can be something that breaks your heart, something that you want to change in the world, or it can be related to a struggle that you've been through. And just to give you a concrete example of somebody I coached recently who had been through a cancer diagnosis. And again, his life was fine, decent job, lovely relationship, family, a small baby. He got his diagnosis and had to take about 1.5 years off. And we worked together, I was coaching him. And what he became passionate about was mindfulness. he realized that he had lived so much of his life in fear and anticipating the future instead of enjoying the present moment. And the shift that he went through in that time at home with his wife and his child and practicing mindfulness, he became a new person. And his level of appreciation of the small things in life skyrocketed. And he would talk to me about, my daughter did this today and I was able to be there for this. And he became so passionate. And we talked about his purpose was related to teaching. And one of the things that I love to do is help people right away move into taking baby steps. You don't have to quit your job. You don't have to start something new right away. You can later, maybe, but what can you do right away to start tapping into that passion and purpose? And because he was interested in teaching, I said, what can you start to do right now to teach about mindfulness? And what was right in front of him was his daughter. And he started taking walks with her and started saying, look at the sky, he started acting like a child. Like, children are good at mindfulness in general. They're in the present moment. So he started just accentuating and putting emphasis on that. And when she was eating, tasting, slowing the process down. So he started his purpose journey right there from home with his diagnosis. And it was just so moving to see the change in him because he became so passionate about the impact of mindfulness and the realization that so many people live on autopilot in their life. And he got off autopilot. So, any questions, comments? Feel free. The next thing I wanted to share, there was a perfectly aligned chills. Good. Okay, so the next thing I wanted to share is the different components that I help people define in terms of their purpose. There's 4 that we play with, and I'm going to talk to you at the end about a course that I'm launching at the end of April. And these are some of the things that I take people through in greater depth, of course. The first one is your essence. So your essence is how you show up. So you probably, as you came on this call and saw the faces of other people, you probably got some energy. You probably had an impression of that person just from how they showed up. And the fun thing that we do in the course is we ask people to reflect to us what they see. When we show up in a room, what do they see? Do they see calm? Do they see confidence? And it's not what you do, it's just your presence. And it's a really fun exercise because often it's hard to see ourselves because we're not looking at ourselves. We don't know how we're showing up. Zoom helps. Actually, we see ourselves on Zoom, but yeah. So what we do is we get some keywords and we define a statement. And once you know your essence, you know that that's how you're showing up already. So part of my essence is peace. So when I'm at my best, if I'm showing up, I should already be helping people feel a little bit more at peace. And Stefan, I know you can relate to this, is some of the spiritual teachers say it's more important how we show up than what we say or do. And so for me, it's very important before I give a talk like this is to center myself, to make sure that I'm not coming in here rushing and off balance, and I'm coming here and wanting to be at my best. And so when you combine your essence with your transformation, with the purpose, then you're really playing at your top of your game. That makes sense? Your essence, how you show up? Good. Second part is the transformation that you help facilitate in the world. So often I take people through an exercise about how is the world before you show up and help, and how is the world or a person or a situation after you've helped. And in the middle is basically what you do to transform something. So your purpose is something that you do over and over and over again. And what it is not a job. Your purpose is not your job. Your purpose is something that comes naturally and easily to you. And guess what, everybody? You're already doing it. In some aspects of your life, you are doing it already. And if you're here, you probably haven't clearly defined it, but it's there. So it's that transformation. And the fun thing when I help people find their purpose is we go back. There's an example about a lawyer that I helped, and her purpose ended up being around defending people. And she was in a job, she was a lawyer, and she was defending people, but she realized that she had defended her little brother in the schoolyard. She had defended her mother at some point in life when her mother was going through difficult times. So it was already there, but she didn't realize it. And once she realized it, it changed her work. And I'm going to talk I'm going to go through some purpose statements later, and I'll tell you exactly her purpose statement and how powerful it became. So second part is the transformation that you make. So that we can call it your purpose statement. Third part is mission. So mission is the big impact that you're here to make in the world. Maybe I can mute Stéphane.
Okay.
No. Okay. The big impact that you're here to have in the world. I'm going to share an example just to clarify the difference between the transformation and the mission. So the other day I was coaching on a coaching call, and the person I was helping was actually a prosperity coach. So I said, okay, what's your purpose? I wanted to hear his definition. And he said, well, Jackie, my purpose is to help millions of people achieve financial freedom. And I said, oh, that is a beautiful, that's a good, bold statement. I love it, but that's not your purpose. I said, that's your mission. So the mission has it's a goal. It's a big goal that you're working towards. And as you do your purpose every day with every situation you go through, you eventually get to your mission. So we started talking about his actual purpose. I said, how are people, before you coach them, how do they feel? We said, well, they feel discouraged. They feel, not wealthy. They feel like there's not enough out there. They're never going to make enough money. And I said, how do they feel after you coach them? He said, well, they feel empowered. Yeah, they feel like, there's abundance, there's enough. They too can be successful. And I said, and so we defined his purpose. Basically, he helps people shift from a scarcity mindset to an abundance mindset. And that really resonated with him. So instead, next time he goes out to present, he's not going to say, my purpose is to help millions find financial freedom. It's that shift that he helps people make. That's where the energy is. That's what's exciting. And when he does that over and over again, yeah, maybe he will get to millions. He's also writing books. So the next part, that leads me to the next part, is your message. So some people, we call them messengers. They feel called to communicate with the world, a powerful message. And often those people want to write a book. They do TED Talks, they present, they get their message out to large numbers of people. So your message can, of course, it's related to your purpose, but it can be something very specific. Like for him, it might be, my message is there's enough for everyone. There's enough abundance. The world is an abundant place. That could be his message. So those are the 4 different aspects that I help people work through in terms of their purpose. Questions, comments? All right. I'm going to keep going now. I'm just going to tell you a little bit about my journey, if that's cool. Do you still give me a thumbs up if that's cool? You're there. You're nice. Good. Thank you, Lynn. Really interesting. Awesome. All right. So I want to tell you about my journey because I don't want to lead you to believe that purpose is a straightforward path. It's about following the energy. So I said in the, I think Stéphane and I advertised that I would give you an inner compass to find your purpose. Does anybody want to find that inner compass? Put your right hand up if you want it, that inner compass. Now put it on your heart. That's it. That's your inner compass. Okay, so it's following the energy, the passion, what lights you up. It's following your heart. So what happened in my life was I got to university, took business because my family told me I should. ended up going into marketing. About 4 years into my career, I was exhausted, run down, overwhelmed, stressed, back-to-back colds. And I made one decision. At that point, I thought, I'm in marketing. There I go down my path, director, VP, whatever. And then I made this one decision, and all of a sudden, whoosh, it's like my path changed. It's like, you don't know at the time, right? It's one decision. So the decision I made was to learn to meditate. I spent $1,000 25 years ago to take the Transcendental Meditation course. They teach you how to meditate. They give you a technique and they say 20 minutes twice a day. I had paid $1,000, so I listened. I wanted to get my money's worth. And I started meditating twice a day. And I have to say, it's the best investment I have ever made because I'm still doing it. It's paying off every day, dividends. And it helped me feel more energized. I didn't get sick anymore. I hardly get sick. I feel less stressed. I feel like I can see the stress, but step back and not be as overwhelmed by it. And then it got me on this path to spirituality and saying we all have a purpose and we're guided and supported on this journey to finding our purpose. And that's one of my beliefs, is that if you're not on your purpose path, you're either going to be pushed off the path you're on or pulled towards, because your soul and the universe want you to find your purpose. They want you to align with it. So what happened to me is I got pushed. I lost my marketing job, and this is a good story. I was 3 months pregnant with my second daughter. So I had a 9-month-old at home, and I was 3 months pregnant, and they eliminated my job. So I thought, they can't do this, I'm pregnant. They eliminated the job, so it was okay. They could legally do it. And I thought, who is going to hire me? Like, this is not fair. And what happened was I got a placement agent. There was somebody there that knew me. She helped me. I got a 4-month contract at Banque Nationale to do branding 3 days a week. It was like, I couldn't have been better. It gave me more time with my kids. And this sent me on the path of exploring other things. I became a consultant, so I had time to explore coaching and yoga. So I became a certified yoga teacher after the meditation. And a really important point is, at that junction in my life, I knew I wouldn't be a full-time yoga teacher, but I felt called. My instructor was Dr. Bali, is guru from India. He was brilliant, had so much to offer. And I knew I needed to take the course, but I wasn't sure what I was going to do with it. But I followed that energy. And now I teach mindfulness in organizations. And do you know why? Because Dr. Bali was a specialist in stress management and mindfulness. And that came with the whole approach he taught in certifying teachers. It wasn't just postures. To him, it was a whole philosophy of yoga. So the point here is, if you feel called to do something and your brain says, oh, but that doesn't make any sense, I probably won't make money with that, or I won't go anywhere, whatever, do it. Follow your heart, because we have this limited view of the future, and the future is so much greater when we start taking those steps towards what we're passionate about. It will unfold in magical ways that you can't even imagine right now. So I went from meditation. I thought that was my purpose for a while. I thought the whole world should be meditating. It's a best kept secret. But 25 years ago, people weren't really interested. So I didn't get much traction with that. So I took the yoga. From the yoga, I actually was giving a retreat one weekend, and somebody asked me if I would be their meditation therapist. And I thought, well, that's pretty cool. Yeah, I can do that. And then I went on to coacher for a couple of years, and that's when I got interested in coaching. And I got on a call with Tim Kelly, my purpose coach, and he was talking about clarity of purpose. And I was like, yes, I want that. Sign me up. So I took his course, and I found out that my purpose relates to helping people find their purpose. So I became a certified purpose coach, and have been doing that for about 10 years. And it's just about 3 years ago that I decided to orient my coaching and my purpose work towards businesses. And I was thrilled to realize at the time that businesses were ready and on board with mindfulness. and meditation. They were developing meditation rooms. They were, training their people in mindfulness, and purpose started to become trendy in organizations. So I found myself at this sweet spot of a convergence of my business background, my yoga, my meditation, my coaching. It's like, wow, I found the sweet spot. So that's been my journey, but it wasn't, like I said, it wasn't a straight path to where I got to. And it took a lot of faith and not knowing where things would lead me, but following my heart. Awesome. Last thing I wanted to say about purpose is once you start exploring your purpose, things will come your way as well. So I went to McGill Executive Institute. I had a connection there. I went to present. I thought I'd love to teach a mindfulness or meditation course or conscious capitalism. So I presented that to the director, and he said, okay, let us think about it. We don't really add new courses right now. About 3 months later, he got back to me and said, Jackie, we have authentic leadership course, and we'd like you to present it. I was like, oh, that's great. Nice. That aligns with, talking about values and conscious capitalism. So I did that. Then McGill hired me to do leadership coaching. Then another company, Mindwell U, contacted me to do leadership coaching with government workers. So before I knew it, I was becoming a specialist in leadership coaching, right? So that's the pull. That's the pull from the universe bringing me in that direction. And of course, when these things happen, it's like, okay, how does that feel? It feels great. I feel like I'm making an impact. The more leaders I help, the ripple effect is even bigger. And it's like, yes, this is very rewarding work for me, and I see the changes in them. So that's what I wanted to talk about my journey. Now I'd just like to present a few slides. So I'm just gonna, I'm going to share my screen. Okay, can everybody see that?
Jackie, there was a question.
Okay,
how to
shoot,
choose
yes.
when there is passion everywhere? Too much.
Too much passion. The thing is, take baby steps towards passion. And then see what happens. So if you're passionate about 3 different things, I would say take a baby step forward in all of those directions, and then see what happens. If you hit a roadblock, if it doesn't feel good, if sometimes I use the example of somebody that's passionate about cooking. If you're passionate about cooking, your head's going to say, oh, I'll never be a chef. I don't want to work weekends. I don't, whatever. Take a cooking course, sign up for it, and then see what happens. If you love the instructor, if you meet new people, and then let's say there's an internship, go for it. So really take baby steps and then see what happens. Awesome, good, great question. Okay, so I love this quote. The meaning of life is to find your gift. The purpose of life is to give it away. And it's really 2 very different stages, right? Finding your gift, finding your purpose is one aspect that I help people about. But what my coach and I have realized is a lot of people, even once they've found their purpose, they stay stuck. Fears come up, ego, blockages, I'm not good enough, I don't have enough money, I'm too old, I'm too busy, all these things come up. So that's what I help coach people in terms of not only finding, but getting on that path. And like I say, it could just be baby steps. You don't have to quit your day job, but unless you're taking steps forward, you're not going to get the feedback. All right, so next is this quote from Wayne Dyer: don't die with your music still in you. And Wayne was one of my favorite spiritual teachers. And just this is so powerful to me that it's almost like we have an obligation. If we have a skill, a gift to give to the world, it's almost our obligation to share it. And sometimes we think, well, who am I to do this? But my response would be, who are you not to? If you have something to share, we're all here to help evolve as a race. to help increase the level of consciousness of people. So we all need to be working together towards that. And I think I've talked enough about my path. This was just going to be the reminder that it's not a straight path. It's not necessarily going to be obvious, and there might be struggles along the way. And each one of those struggles is likely meant to bring you to the next level of awareness and the learning. And so often what we learn in that struggle is what we end up helping people with. So when you are struggling, just know that there is, what I like to say is everything is purposeful. So even the struggles are helping you with your purpose. I would say especially the struggles. Okay, feel the flow. I've been doing a lot of work or following Michael Singer. You may have heard of him. He wrote The Untethered Soul and the Surrender Experiment. And I've just immersed myself with his work over the last year, probably since the pandemic. And I've changed my end game really because of him. And he describes this state that is attainable. And I've never actually heard anybody else describe it quite like him. He talks about this energy that flows through his body and out his third eye, and this feeling of complete like bliss and joy. And this is like a state, once we've let go of all our blockages, once we've gotten rid of all our, the wounds that we've been carrying, the frustrations and the resentments, and we've opened up our body, we've taken care of our body through yoga and meditation. And this energy is always there. It's wanting to flow. It's like a river. It's wanting to flow and move up through our chakras. And he basically talks about this state where you no longer need anything externally to feel this sense of bliss and wellness. And once you get to that point, then all you want to do is share and serve and contribute. And there's no ego involvement anymore. So this is part of what I help people start to tune into, this energy and this flow. So Einstein said that everything is energy. And I like to flip that and say, energy is everything. So why I'm excited about purpose, about passion, is because it generates that energy. And it helps with that flow in us. If we're waking up every day excited about what we're going to do and see the impact, it's like flowing. So it's really about inner energy, clearing out the debris, getting, facing and feeling and releasing the fears and everything that's holding us back, and really feeling unstoppable, feeling like this energy is propelling us forward. And high vibrations lead to positive manifestations. So the more that we can be and notice when we're in this state of joy, when we're doing something that's passion and purposeful for us, the more we lean into that and feel that, it's like the more comes our way. And almost every time I help somebody find their purpose, they come back to me and say, Jackie, you won't believe what happened. This person called me out of the blue, or that happened. And this is where the flow happens in terms of synchronicities and coincidences. And it just helps you along that way, along that path. All right, so I said that I would talk a little bit about that transformation statement of the lawyer that I helped find her purpose. So what I do in the course that I teach, is I help people tune into their energy and actually rate these statements based on how it feels in their body. And so often I can be on a coaching call with somebody and I'll stop them and say, you just lit up when you talked about that. And they didn't realize. And they're like, oh, wow, okay, really? Let's explore that. So what we do with all the statements, so the mission statement, the essence, the purpose statements, is we have the person read it out loud and rate it energetically. So when I worked with her, this is just a short version of it, her first purpose statement was, I help defend vulnerable people. As a lawyer, and like I said, with her brother, And then she worked a little bit after we had come up with this, she worked a little bit with her clients, and she started paying more attention to this shift that she helped people go through. And what ended up coming up, surfacing for her was, she said, Jackie, I not only help them and defend them, but I help them stand up for themselves. I help them speak their truth. And this is when she started tearing up. And that's when I know that we've hit something really powerful. So it wasn't just that she was defending vulnerable people, she was empowering and inspiring them. So the statement changed to, I help empower vulnerable people to stand up for what they believe in. So the transformation, the before was they were feeling weak and bullied and not in their power. And after, they're feeling confident and empowered and able to speak up for themselves. And she ended up, when she first came to me, she said, Jackie, I don't feel like I'm in my place, but I don't know where my place is. And she ended up finding her place, and it was right where she was. She just needed to fine tune a little bit. And once you, like I said, put the finger on it, and then you see it happening and you see the impact, and then you can multiply it and it becomes magical. Okay, I think we have time to share one more. Is this helpful? Give me a thumbs up if it's helpful seeing the examples. Yeah, good. Okay, so another person I've worked with recently, actually that's in a course I'm teaching now, she said, I help make people feel special, cared for, and loved. She had this natural gift. Whenever anybody was struggling, she was just there, and she would do things just that would surprise and delight them and just make them feel so like somebody has my back, somebody cares, somebody, you know, understands what I'm going through. And so we talked a little bit more, and she goes, you know what else happens? She had gotten feedback from people that she had helped. And not only had she helped them feel understood and special, they actually went out and started doing that to others. It's almost like random acts of kindness. When you do one to somebody, they feel like they want to do it to others. So her statement changed to, I make people feel cared for and inspire them to spread love. And again, that went to a whole new level of, oh my gosh, that really stirred something in her and me. Normally, another sign it's your purpose is when you describe it, somebody else has a physical reaction. You get chills, you get tears, you get energy flow. Okay, so those are just some examples of like concrete statements that come out of the purpose work that I do. So again, purpose is what it lights you up, it breaks your heart, it moves you to action, and really, again, stimulates that energy in you. The most important point I want to say here is it's like a GPS. If you program in your destination, I'm going to Magog, and you sit in your driveway, are you going to get any instructions? Zip, zero, you're going to be sitting in your driveway. So if you program in, here's my purpose, or I want my purpose, you need to take those baby steps. So every baby step, it's like, I've taken the step, how does it feel? What shows up? What happened? What else am I interested or curious about now? But you must take the steps. Even if it feels scary, just break it down to the smallest next step that you can take. Even if it's just researching something, not putting yourself out there, you've got to take that action. All right, so what I'm excited about is the power of clarity and alignment when you discover your purpose and get on that path. I'm going to talk to you about a 6-week course that I'm starting at the end of April. But before I do, I have to admit I had a limiting belief around something, and I'm a bit embarrassed because this is what I love helping people with is overcoming limiting beliefs, yet I was stuck with one. And the belief was I can't help people find their purpose in a group. And I've done it 3 times now, and three different groups. And what I have found is not only was that not true, it's actually easier for me to help people find their purpose in a group for 2 reasons. One is when you're in this group setting, so normally there's a maximum of 6. there is sharing that takes place. And it just happened this week. One lady came and I started the session with, what's an insight that you've got in the last little while? And she shared something, and the rest of us were just like, wow. Yeah. And everybody was like, okay, yes, I get it. It was so beautiful. And as a coach, it was so inspiring to see that the answers were there, amongst the group, and the process just brings them out. So that's one thing. The second thing that happens in a group setting is it's structured. So each week there's homework, we follow up. I give examples, I coach people during the sessions. And if you haven't done your homework, you know what happens? You're like, oh my gosh, I see that person getting a breakthrough and getting coached. And next week you've got your homework done because you want to be coached and you want to have that breakthrough. So all my beliefs have changed around this. I'm super excited. This is the way I'm going forward with coaching. The other great thing is I used to charge $3,000 to get somebody through their purpose process. And now with a group setting, it's much more affordable. So I'm going to talk to you a little bit about the process. What I have been reflecting on is that a lot of people, and again, back to, the cancer patients and that wake-up call, a lot of people are just on autopilot and haven't taken the time to reflect on what's important to them, where they're at, where they're going, what's the vision, what's the end game. So the whole course is structured around finding out what's important and aligning to make it happen. So the first step is, where are you now? So I have created what I call a whole life assessment. So 12 different categories, from finances to love to health, relationships. And it's basically a snapshot. And a lot of people, we don't take the time to look at all these different areas. And where have I been really strong, and where have I been maybe neglecting, or I have some areas of improvement. So that kind of sets the stage. Then we talk about what matters most. And I use the Barrett Values Assessment, which some of you may know. I know Stefan loves it. And we look at what are the important values to you. So in corporate life, and I've helped companies do that, they put the values on the wall. They want to, walk the talk. They know that values lead to a certain culture. Yet in our own life, we very seldom really take the time to define what are my key values and how does that change the culture that I'm creating within my family, within my work environment, within the community that I live. So super important. What are the priorities? And Richard Barrett, the founder of the Barrett Center, talks about values as energetic drivers. When you tap into your values, that makes you feel alive as well. And it's so linked to purpose work. So the next step is finding your gift, your superpower. So we look at what you're passionate about, what energizes you. And we also go through what's blocking, what are the limiting beliefs, any fears that might be holding you back. And we go through those 4 different aspects, and you come up with clear statements at the end. And then where you're heading, there's a whole section on a life vision. So in 5 years, what do you want life to be like? In those areas of your whole life assessment, friends, community, where do you want to be waking up? What do you want your lifestyle to look like? Is there, half day of work? Is there half day of working on yourself, yoga, meditation? What is your dream life? And are you working towards putting that in place right now? And we also redefine success. At the end of the day, the end of your life, what do you want to look back on and say, you know what, it was a success because this, and this. So I challenge people to really say what's important in that aspect. And finally, we create a roadmap. There's some goals, high performance habits. I call them sacred choices. What are you doing every day to be at your best and to be working and moving down that purpose path? Because if you're not taking care of yourself, if you're not putting things in place to feel energized and strong and confident, then you're not moving down that path. And then there's some commitments and the next steps. So that is the program. There's 2 different options in terms of the pricing. The first is $997 for the 6 weeks plus 3 one-on-one laser coaching, where I take a deep dive either into fear or belief, purpose statements. I did one yesterday with somebody where we clarified her purpose statement. I did one with this morning. These are 30-minute calls, but it's like laser focused. and they're very, very helpful. The other option is just $7.97 for the 6-week program. So it's basically an hour and 15 minutes once a week. We come together as a group. Then, like I said, there's homework, there's a course site, there's some videos, there's also a few things that are kind of woven into the course, like tapping into your intuition, dealing with fears, and work on self-esteem, because those are the key areas that I found really can block people. So we work on those as well. And just to finish off before questions, if anybody wants to, I'd love to have you take the course. As you can tell, I'm super excited about it and the impact. If you decide by tonight, I'm going to put in an extra 1-hour coaching session, because as a coach, I know that people that are decisive, when you feel the energy and you make a decision, you get the results. And really, I want people on the course that want to move ahead, want to get the results, and want to make that big impact in the world. So we've got a few more minutes. I'm just going to stop the share, come back to seeing everyone. So I'd love to hear your questions, comments, even just sharing how you're feeling, what's coming up for you. Was it helpful? How to choose when there's a passion everywhere. Yeah, I got that. And some other question I thought, when I'm perfectly aligned, I feel chills. Yeah, head to the heart. Special, awesome. Good. So any questions? Stefan, do you have any questions?
No question. It's crystal clear. Thank you, Jackie, for your enthusiasm.
Yeah, it's part of who I am, right?
Just one thing I want to add, because I talked to you this week. Someone has a question?
Yeah.
Not a question, a comment.
Yes.
Go ahead.
Oh, we lost you. You're on mute, I think, Martin. Oops. Okay.
Yeah, I think. Yeah. No. Okay. Sorry.
Go.
Thanks for your energy. Thanks for everything. Even though I was not seeing the visual, I can feel the energy while driving. So I start my transformation journey with the help of Stefan, and I'm following my intuition. And now I'm very close to a park, and I will meet him in a few minutes. So I just want to convey the message that following your intuition for an engineer is not normal, but since I start doing it, many things is happening in synchronicity and things that I could not even think of in just a few months.
Oh, that's awesome. Thank you. Thank you for sharing. Melissa, I think you had a question. Melissa? No, Melissa?
Yes, it was to say thank you for the answer about the baby steps and stuff, because my struggling is there's passion everywhere. So which direction to take, because everything in the present means something. So, but you're right.
Yeah, once you take the baby steps, you'll see that some things bubble to the surface faster than others, and some things open up more than others. Yeah, and that's your guide. It's the what opens up in front of you, the synchronicities, the coincidences, your heart. Yeah. We've got this built-in guide that it's always there. And it's so funny coaching people in purpose. You could see them in their heart, and then all of a sudden it's like this zoom up to the head, and then the ego says, "Yeah, but," and then the fear and the whatever. And it's like, no, let's go back down, back to the heart. So that's a big part of what I help people do, is really keep coming back to it. Keep feeling the emotions, the passion, the energy.
Thank you so much.
Awesome. So I would love just for everybody just to share one word before we sign off, one word about how you're feeling in this moment. Just go ahead and share it in the chat. Light, nice. Energized, cool. Hope. Good. Smile, nice. Inspired to continue to follow my heart. Good. Awesome. So thank you, Stéphane. Trust in life. Yeah, that's brilliant. Thank you so much for inviting me to share my passion and share the opportunity for me to serve in the way I love to serve. So I really appreciate everybody being here and your smiling faces and energy and passion.
Thank you so much, Jackie, for this enlightening conversation. Thank you, everyone, for showing up. This afternoon, I will send the video recording of this session and the link to the website for the workshop that Jackie talked about. So hopefully this can help you find your purpose and you can contribute with all your essence to the world because we need you. We need you to live your purpose every day. Yeah. And thank you so much. Much love and
awesome.
Have a great weekend.
Merci.
Great, lovely weekend.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Bye, everyone.